4 years, I kept going back to the same woman, even though she broke my heart over and over again. I thought our story was finally turning around. I had no idea our last conversation would be the last time I'd ever hear from her. 4 years ago, let's call me Jay, met a woman I'll name N online. It was meant to be a casual hookup, but we instantly hit it off. We had compatibility, we had chemistry. She was stunningly beautiful, older than me, but I didn't mind that. After a few hookups, I worked up the courage to ask her out to dinner. We went to a lovely hotel restaurant in London where we had a beautiful meal. I was so nervous all evening. She fed me, I fed her. We walked around the town for the whole evening. We both enjoyed each other's company. But we both know that we wouldn't work out as a conventional couple. We also agreed to keep the relationship secret from our family and friends, agreed that we would find our other partners for ourselves for the long term. Over the 4 years, we went in and out of each other's lives. We shared our hopes and dreams. We shared our ambitions and fears. I told her about my ambition to rise in my engineering career, buying a lovely home and raise family. She told me about her ambition to set up her own fashion line and write a book about her life. We made pie in the sky plans to go on holiday together to Ischia in Italy. I would have struggled to save up the money to take us both on holiday at the level of luxury she wanted, and she never firmed up any plans to go there with me. She told me about her battle with cyclic depression. Early 2024 told me that she had considered suicide multiple times. I begged her not to do it. Once we were talking in the abstract about our dreams of having children, I said that if I had enough money and my partner was willing, I wanted 3 children. She said something to the effect of I couldn't have a large family, I just couldn't. And I'm not sure I want children, I don't want them to have what I had. I asked her about the letter, but she refused to answer and changed the subject. She lied to me about her age, always said that she was in my 30s or mid-30s. I found out her age once she blurted out that she was born in the year of the pig as per the Chinese zodiac. That meant that she was either 1 year younger or 11 years older than me. She was not younger than me. I was taken aback, but I decided that I loved her anyway, so would keep it going. We wanted to go out to dinner and drinks and walks around the town. We would make love. At times she was very affectionate, intimate, loving. At other times she was cold and distant. Sometimes felt like she couldn't bear my presence. It hurt me a lot. She used me, I knew it, but I was so in love with her, I let her. She laughed at me often. I knew it, but I let her because she was laughing. She often told me, I love meeting up with you. You give me a laugh. She ignored and ghosted me for long periods of time. She was out of touch most of 2025. She reconnected May to July 2025 with her mental health was declining starkly. She was scared. She was desperate. She was running out of money as she was out of work. She asked to borrow ever more money from me. I initially obliged, but as demands grew more frequent and because I knew she was addicted to cocaine, I became more and more hesitant. One evening, when we were in her apartment having foreplay, she let her anger about my refusal to lend her money come to the fore. She threw me out, told me to stay away the rest of my life. I was heartbroken, but I knew it was going to happen sooner or later. More to the point, I was too worried for her well-being. I called a therapist who told me that Anne had lived her life before me, she will live her life after me, and that I cannot hold myself responsible for her actions. After Christmas 2025, she reconnected with me, and I was so relieved that she was still alive. I told her I was glad to hear from her, told her I was moving on and going after another woman named E, whom I met at a friend's house party, and was initially happy for me, told me I had a pulling power, that E was a beauty and an intellect, but I could tell her mental instability was getting much worse. Early Feb 2026, we met up for dinner on a drive close to her birthday. She came with her college best friend, lady named S. She had aged a lot since last July. She looked tired. She looked really sad. We kissed each other. She told me that she wanted me to stay over at her place again. I was hoping for this. I told her I could come over that night. She smiled and didn't answer. S later told me that she was staying over that night with Anne. After that, on the lead up to Valentine's Day, Anne asked me to go out with me for dinner on Valentine's, just the two of us. I wasn't keen, as I had been trying to move on from Anne. I was miserable as E had rejected my Valentine's Day invite. Also, her messages were getting more and more incoherent. I didn't want to say yes or no outright to Anne in her impaired mental state. She told me on Tuesday, 10 February, that she will confirm the time and venue for our Valentine's dinner the next day. She never did. I never pinched or messaged her. 16 Feb 2026, she asked to be my partner, proper relationship, not the situationships we were having before. I wasn't keen. I just thought that she was being financially desperate and was clinging on to me for stability. I was still bitter about the unkind and downright cruel ways she treated me before and never owned up to. I felt like she didn't love me, nor even like me, but that she was just using me. I still didn't want to say yes or no outright. I told her that I wanted to meet up with her in person to talk about it, as it is a big commitment. That was my excuse to stage an intervention, propose that she get professional mental health support, and that I love her and will support her in getting better. If she was hysterical or upset, I would have lied and agreed to be her partner on the spot. She blocked me again. This time, I just said to myself, good riddance. 28 May 2026 at 12:32 p.m. when I was working from home, I received a call from the police. They had carried out a welfare check on her apartment and found her deceased. She had committed suicide. I burst into tears immediately, said something to the effect of she did it. She actually did it. She actually killed herself. The police officer offered his condolences, asked me for her next of kin. I knew she had parents and siblings, but she was estranged from them, and she never told me their names or phone number. I told the police that if no one claims Anne's body, I would bury her. I told her college friend S. Today we went to the police station to confirm the news and offer our support for investigation into Anne's death. S knew Anne's sibling names and professions, but not their phone numbers. My mental health spiraled. I chose to break my silence and tell my friends and family and colleagues about my secret relationship with Anne. They have been a font of support and sympathy. I signed myself up to bereavement counseling with a professional therapist, and Caroline, the therapist, has been instrumental and key in my recovery from this grief. I would say I owe Caroline and my colleagues my life, because 2 weeks after I received news of her death, my mind was consumed by thoughts of joining Anne in the afterlife. They were intrusive and distressing. A mental health first aider at my office noticed how I was struggling. I admitted my thoughts to her, and she discreetly put me on side watch in the office. I was put through to a pandemic who carried out a diagnostic test and concluded that I was not at a risk of immediate self-harm, just that I was in acute grief. I get in touch with Anne's brother. We shared information, me about the time I knew her in the last 4 years when her family was estranged from her, and he shared about the painfully shy older sister he grew up with when they were children. He told me that Anne told the family about how she had a lovely birthday dinner with her college friend named S, and a main special to her, which is me. The whole family is heartbroken at her passing. 3 weeks ago, 14 July 2026, I agreed to be interviewed at the police station to provide a witness statement into how I knew Anne and her mental and physical state. I confirmed that this was not an interview under caution and that I was not a suspect. I spent hours going through the full timeline of how I met Anne and what we did together. It was exhausting and mortifying. I was telling them about very intimate and private details about my time with Anne. They told me that Anne's body is still impounded pending conclusion of the investigation. They will not commit to a timeline as to when the investigation will conclude and when the public inquest at the coroner's court will take place. When the time comes, the body will be released to the next of kin. It will be up to them if I can view her body and attend her funeral. It has been over 2 months. She is still lying in a morgue. My heart has an N-shaped hole in it. My grief's one acute is now a dull ache. Ever present in the background, I try to live as normal a life as I can. I keep working, keep socializing, keep being active because I will spiral otherwise. I look at the message over and over again. It was from mid-Feb 2026 when she told me for the first and only time, I love you. I didn't believe her then, and now it's all I can about. I love her too, but never worked out the courage to tell her. My relatives, friends, colleagues, and acquaintances, they are married with children, married, engaged, or in a long-term relationship. And then there's me. A woman I love has passed away and left me grieving in her wake. Rest in peace, Anne. I can't believe you are gone. You were awful to me at times, but you added so much to my life. I loved you. I still love you. But you are gone now, and I miss you very much. I can't bring myself to say goodbye. Oh my God. This had me tears in my eyes and the screen is blurry, guys.